All right, so picture this. It's a beautiful day, and we're in an alley where Dog King and his pals are just kind of sprawled out on the pavement. The kids are all back in school, which for this crew means one thing and one thing only. They are totally, completely, 100% bored. So, to break up the monotony, the conversation drifts to the one topic that's guaranteed to get a dog's tail wagging: bones. And who kicks it off? Dog King, of course. He starts telling this story about a legendary bone from a hunter. You know, the good kind with actual meat on it and that rich marrow inside. He swears he chewed on that thing for a solid year. But, there's always one in the group who has to top you. For them, it's Dog King's little Chihuahua buddy Pickles. He jumps in with a story about his great-aunt Norma finding a bone so ridiculously big that after her family hollowed it out, they could literally live inside it. I'm talking a bone mansion. Well, not everyone is buying this tall tale. A dog named Rex just scoffs, completely dismissive, saying there's no way a bone that big exists. And just like that, it's on. A bet is thrown down and the stakes are high. If Pickles can actually prove a bone like that is real, Rex has to be his personal butler for an entire day. But if he can't, Pickles has to give up his most prized possession, his awesome pink bike basket. The dogs are going nuts over this bet, but there's just one little problem. Where on earth are they going to find a bone that big? And then, just when they're stuck, they get a tip from the most unlikely source imaginable. Cranberry the cat, who's usually just watching from the sidelines, pipes up. She says she knows exactly where to find one. She saw these massive bones at the city museum when she was tailing her kid on a school field trip. This changes everything. Now it's not just a story, it's a target. With a destination locked in, Dog King steps up and takes charge. He looks around at all the dogs staring at him, and he makes a call. They can get that bone, but they're not going to be able to do it alone. No, for this, they're going to need a team. See, this can't just be a chaotic free-for-all. This needs a plan, a real plan. And the very first part of that plan is going to require some serious speed. Dog King knows they need runners to create a diversion, and not just any runners. They need the absolute fastest dogs they can find. And that leads them to one dog and one dog only, Virginia Slick. She's this sleek greyhound, a retired racing champion, the fastest dog anyone's ever seen. They find her just napping in her backyard, her feet still twitching like she's running, even in her dreams. At first, Slick is not interested at all. She's like, nope, my racing days are behind me. But Dog King, he knows just what to say. The second he mentions the biggest bone in the world, her ears just shoot straight up. The idea of one last epic race for the ultimate prize, it's just too good to pass up. She's in. Okay, so they've got their speed, but speed isn't going to move a giant bone. For that, they're going to need some serious top-tier muscle. The next members of the team have to be the best pullers in the entire town. Dog King remembers that a new family just moved in from Canada, which can only mean one thing: huskies. They find these two sisters, Snow and Angel, just chilling in their yard. They're gorgeous, super powerful, and everybody knows they live for pulling sleds. They are perfect for the job. And this is how you know they're perfect. Dog King walks up and says, "We need something big pulled." And they agree right then and there. They don't even ask what it is or how risky it is. They just love to pull. And just like that, the muscle is locked in. All right, the team is coming together. They have the speed for the diversion. They have the muscle for the heist itself. So what's the last part of the plan? The getaway. They need diggers, the best diggers, to prep the hiding spot for the treasure. And this leads them to Footlong Frank, a wiener dog with a very energetic personality. Pickles absolutely cannot stand the guy, but even he can't deny Frank's talent. When they find him, he's already just a blur of flying dirt, having the time of his life digging. He's the best there is, and he is so ready to join the team. So, the team is assembled. Dog King gathers everyone around and lays out the plan. It's a classic three-part heist. Step 1, Virginia Slick and the runners create a massive, chaotic diversion inside the museum. Step 2, while security is distracted, Snow, Angel, and the pullers slip in and grab the bone. And step 3, Frank and the diggers will have a giant hole all ready and waiting for them back home. Simple, right? The plan goes live. The runners cause absolute chaos, and just as planned, the pullers sneak into the now deserted dinosaur hall. And they just stop and stare. In front of them is the entire skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, towering all the way up to the ceiling. It is so much bigger than they ever imagined. All Pickles can do is scream, "Sweet Georgia Brown." Their target? A leg bone the size of a car. The pullers snap out of it, grab their ropes, and start pulling with everything they've got. But there's a problem. It's not moving, not an inch. The whole fossil is wired together way too tight. As this huge skeleton starts swaying back and forth, Dog King spots the snag. A rope is caught way up by the T-Rex's shoulder. And before anyone can even think, Pickles just goes for it. He leaps onto the swaying bones, this tiny little chihuahua scrambling up a giant fossil, and he grabs that stuck rope with his teeth. He's wiggling, he's pulling, and with this loud sprawling sound, the rope snaps free. The whole skeleton starts to come apart. Pickles is swinging through the air, and then, with a massive pop, the giant leg bone finally breaks loose from the rest of the fossil. They got it. Now for the hard part, the getaway. The whole team works together to haul this enormous bone out of the museum and down the front steps. They're dragging it through backyards, across streets. Just imagine this chaotic parade with a prize as long as a car clattering and scraping behind them. They finally get it back to the empty lot, where Frank and his crew have dug a massive hole. But just as they're dragging the bone over to it, they hear them. The humans are coming. They give it one last heave and drop the bone in with a heavy thud, just in the nick of time. But they're not safe yet. As the museum staff come around the corner, the dogs instantly switch gears. They start wrestling, rolling in the dirt, just going absolutely wild all over the fresh patch of earth. The humans see this total chaos and think, there's no way these dogs pulled off a heist. They must have just been a distraction. The plan worked. It actually worked. Later on, after the coast is clear, Rex finds Pickles, and after seeing that impossible bone with his own 2 eyes, he's had a total change of heart. He goes right up to him and apologizes. He admits he was wrong, and says he's really trying to be a nicer dog. And you know what? Pickles actually accepts the apology. He admits Rex really helped out when it mattered. But hey, a bet is a bet. He goes easy on him, though. The only thing Rex has to do is clean the bite basket, which got pretty dirty during the big dig. And so, they did it. The team came together, they pulled off an impossible heist, and they got their hands on the biggest bone anyone had ever seen, proving a wild story was actually true. Which really just leaves one question. After a score like that, what in the world could possibly be next for the king of the dogs?